All right. Well, it's time. Just go ahead and transition there. Okay. How's everybody doing on this fine Friday? I have a lot of stuff going on. I don't have anything in particular that I wanted to work on, but I mean, sort of. I have actually multiple things I wanted to work on, but it's a little you'll see in a second. You'll see what I mean. Okay. So, how are you guys doing? I'm curious on how everybody's Friday is going. Also, I feel like this music's a little loud, personally. So I'm just gonna make it a little quiet. Okay. Hopefully, the music's not like overpowering my voice. But let me know. Let me know what you guys think. Okay. So, some of you may be familiar with what's going on here. I was looking at this. Hello, Computer Animates. Welcome. Welcome. All right. Some of you may recognize this, like from maybe any other computer builds, but this here is my RAM bus. But I actually I don't care about its purpose for my computer this second, because in fact, the RAM bus I was just wanting to see how fast it was. Because that might solve a problem later down the line. It looks like it is about the exact same speed as some IC flash memory. So, and I ordered some of that as well. And I was hoping that I can maybe use flash for my ROM instead of like my normal ROM, but we'll see. We'll see. The whole thing is up to up in the air on how I'm going to get everything to work, and my ROM writer probably will not work for Flash. So anyway, enough of that. Let's talk about what I've been doing over the past week. So yet again, I didn't get to work on a whole lot of stuff, and I've been talking about how I definitely need to change some stuff. How much RAM is it going to have? That's a really good question. So it's going to have 15 bits of addresses of 16 bits. So like it's going to store 16-bit data at 15 bits of addresses, which is 32,000, I think. Hang on, let me get out the calculator really fast. Calculator, we're going to go up to scientific. Oh, wrong one. I wanted to go to, I need to clear everything. 2 to the power of 15. Yeah. I think there might only be 16K RAM addresses, so it might only be 14. Well, I could just tell you. Literally just need to click on... Oh, I'm on the data sheets right now. I don't know why it just didn't look up. Yeah, 32,000 RAM addresses at 16. So each of these has 32 RAM address of 8 bits. And then I'm just going to tie them together and then tie their address lines together. So they all share the same address lines. And then it will just be 16 bits of data. Some people, or 2 bytes, I guess if you want to call it that. Some people, or a word, I guess. There's that too. A word of... Anyway, so I noticed some people, like modern computers, still use the 8 bits and then they just combine them. But I think for the simplicity of my CPU and everything, I'm just going to combine it all into one 16-bit RAM address. Obviously there are 2 separate 8s, so that works, but they're going to be hard programmed so that they're all the same. Okay. Oh, I hope my I hope everybody's experience is fine. It looks like... Nope, I think everything's fine. Sorry, I got a notification on my other monitor that something went wrong with the stream, and I think it was talking about a different channel that is not currently being streamed. Jurassic Vader VODs. That's for my gaming clips. I don't really utilize the channel too much because I don't really game that much. Okay, either way, let's start talking about what we have. This is going to be my RAM bus. I decided that I'm going to swap it out for full, for like I don't know. I'm really confused. Not confused. Sorry, that's a bad word to use. I'm conflicted. That's right. I'm conflicted on whether or not I want to use these like half breadboards or if I want to use a full breadboard such as this. They don't even connect properly, so they would be like, sorry, they would be like kind of having that like weird gap, and that's kind of annoying. I couldn't tell you. What am I going to do with the computer? Well, I kind of want to make the official end goal is that I run some sort of like DOS OS on it, and then I can just play around and just the whole thing is that I'm learning. Because I don't know the majority of what goes into OS making. My major was software engineering, so once I build a computer, the OS stuff should like flow. Hopefully, I'm praying. And then I have a few connections at NOS. Yeah, so this is actually technically a video interface, not a graphics card, but I do actually want. So I actually bought a few extra RAM addresses. Or not, why did I call it RAM addresses? I bought a few extra RAM ICs, CY62256 RAM chips, and I actually wanted to have its own dedicated RAM, which in this sense is like halfway to having, like that's halfway into the graphics card. But yeah, it has a video interface. It should connect to a monitor. The end goal, this should be like a, what was it? I think this is a 400 by 300 pixel screen with color. So, and then I wanted to have dedicated RAM for it. So we'll see how that goes. That might be really iffy. But we'll see. And then I also found a few interesting articles because I don't know the first thing to making a graphics card. I don't even want to call it a graphics card because I'm not going to be using it for like actual, like graphics cards are meant to compute high volumes of like graphics points on like computer screens, and obviously it works out for like 2D stuff because like, you know, but either way, I want it to be a video card, which is the same thing as a graphic card, but it just makes me feel better about myself when I call it that. Yeah, VGA. I have a VGA right here. I'm using this little chip for testing purposes, and then I'm gonna buy a smaller one that I can just like, basically, I think there's ones you can buy that have the pins right here, and then they have the pins on the back that I can just like solder, and that's what I want to do for this. But for now, for testing, I just have this little chip that just breaks out each of the pins for VGA. And then I have a, I don't remember the aspect. It's a 4:3 aspect ratio monitor. Basically looks like a square monitor. It's an old Dell from like 2004, but it is LED, like safe to test with. But yeah, I was building this last night. That's what I was working on before the live stream, or not before the live stream, but that's what I was working on yesterday. But I do, like I said, if anybody knows any helpful articles or knows anything on like the first steps to just getting a graphics card, I can't find anything related to how even graphics cards work. I understand the basics, but how to build one is really iffy. So obviously a video interface is required for a graphics card because it has to be able to like communicate, and then a really good video interface would be able to interface between multiple types of oh my gosh, I'm spacing. Display types, there we go. Like widescreen and stuff like that. But this is going to be exclusively like, it's going to be square. The 3:4 aspect, 4:3 aspect ratio. All right. Yeah, so right here is where my for testing purposes right away, what I'm going to end up doing is running it with its own dedicated ROM. It's going to be flash memory, so it's fast, but ROM, you know, it's gonna be the same purpose as ROM there. And then I'm gonna have, like I said, flash memory. Second is I'm gonna have to connect it to the VGA here. So they'll plug in. I do have a monitor over here, but I need to set up my other monitor over there for testing. So then I'll have 3 monitors, one for the breadboard computer for testing. And yeah, so my whole goal with the entire computer is just whatever I want to make, really. I mean, I always wanted to make my own programming language, and that is really daunting when it comes to like ARM or x86 processors. So I like the route of building my own custom CPU, and then since I fully understand that, I will fully understand the assembly language, and then I can write my own like C-like programming language, because I know what goes into making that, but I don't know how to make it on like our current, like the desktop I'm using to stream on. I have no clue how to make a C-like programming language for this because I don't understand the assembly very well. There's way too much. There's like how many registers that you have to think about. It's just too overwhelming. So here I only have like 3 registers I have to think about, and it's just all around very easy to understand. Jurassic Vader ++. So I actually was thinking of JScript, but like, or JV script for Jurassic Vader script, but honestly the ++ is really funny. It will have, I'm hoping it will have the like C++ side of things with the object-oriented programming, the classes and the objects. But alas, I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I do want to make my own like programming language for it, and it will be more like C. It's just going to be a C take on my assembly. But yeah, and then hopefully I make a DOS like a DOS, and my end goal is to basically just learn what goes into making a full-on working computer. I would love, like, this would be phenomenal if I can get, where is it at? It's on my desk somewhere. I just have so much going on. You ready? Big reveal. I'd love for this computer to be able to read floppy disks. I'd love to be able to format them. I'd love to be able to like do everything. And I think floppy disks would be such a cool like idea that like I made a computer that could read floppy disks, format, write to floppy disks, so on and so forth. I think that would be so cool. I think for storage purposes, I'm just going to use an SD card. I'll do my best to see if I can get that even working. But I think that makes the most sense to me because I don't have to worry about the hard drive being wiped or anything like that. I could just focus on the flash. The stability of flash storage. Heck yeah. And then obviously I won't be able to use like the most storage I could probably have would be something like a few megabytes. With the way I'm thinking, I think 20 megabytes, and then obviously I should be able to read a full-size floppy disk. And that's pretty much not my story. I don't know why I'm calling it that. That's pretty much my goal. I don't think I should run Windows. Oh my gosh, I can't imagine a like full operating system like that. I think DOS is a lot more achievable than a Windows, and I can't even think how limiting. So the neat thing is that I should have a resolution of like 800 by 600 if I go full black and white. But I want color. I don't know. I think color is a nice thing. I plan to run something like Tetris, and a black and white Tetris is not my forte. I want to see the also Pac-Man, which I mentioned this before, but I don't know how I'm going to legally make these things and like post them. I hope nobody just gets mad at me, and that's my goal. Capcom, don't come after me, please. Okay. What was I planning on doing? Okay. No, and then one other like thing. I really do hope that I can get my processor running with 10 megahertz per second, a clock speed of 10 megahertz. That would be ideal. But let's think about this realistically. I don't think it will work on my full breadboard computer. It would have to be like a PCB version of it. The Monster 6502. This will get lost in chat, so this is something I'm gonna have to copy and paste into my browser. The Monster 6502. Classic. Oh, wow. What's its purpose? Like, what's it do? Oh, wait. I just realized. Is this a 6502 made with just transistors? Holy moly. Wow. Yeah, so I would love to run Doom on it. And since there's only 4 of you here, which, you know, you'll probably clip it, and that's one thing. But I think for an April Fool's prank for next year, I'm going to say I'm running Doom on my... Like, this computer has to be built by April. Like, there's no way. I was hoping it'd be done by Christmas, and then family stuff happened, and I just fell off. Like, I just... Mentally, I just stopped. The Twitch live streams are keeping me there, and this is the first time I actually worked on something in a month on my own time. So I think I'm finally getting in this headspace that I can just continue working. I might have another job lined up. I hope that's also will help me get into this better mind space, because my current job is stressful and takes a lot of time. But anyway, I think a good April Fool's prank would be have my video interface and then just put like a Doom image or something like a Doom image, like just load it up on there and then say like I'm running Doom, and it's like just a frame of Doom, just one frame, and it looks like I'm running Doom. But yet again, I don't know. I would love to make a Doom like, but I think I'm gonna have to cut so many corners. Like I don't know if I'll be able to do. I don't know how to render 3D space on something like. I don't know. Let me look it up. 65. My computer should have about the same processing power as a 6502. It's just a 16-bit and should work in less cycles. So it could be faster, but you gotta again think about the scale of this thing. A 6502 run Doom? Okay. Here's my thought behind it, right? So it says it can't run Doom. But who says that a graphics card couldn't help solve that problem? Like, I think if you cut a ton of corners, right? You cut like every corner possible. Maybe you don't even have, I don't know. You just graphics all around lower. Maybe the 3D space is not quite what you hope for. Maybe, I don't know. Like, I guarantee if you cut some corners and you have a dedicated graphics card, I think you can get something like Doom working. Because the logistics of my computer without a graphics card, I don't think I could get Doom to work on it. That's the harsh reality of things. Because am I using shift registers? I am. I just wait. I'm using shift registers in my keyboard. So that is where I'm using shift registers. I'm not using it in my video interface. Here, I'm just using basically program counters. I think that's exactly what these are. Yeah, 161s are program counters, I think. JK flip-flops. Yeah, so this is going to be my vertical sync, my horizontal sync, vertical, wire up to horizontal, I think. I don't know. I have it all written down somewhere. And this is similar to the Ben Eaters approach, but I found a really cool article that basically solved his thing, added more collar, and got rid of like a lot of these problems, and then shortened the amount of chips you needed from like 23 to 13. So cut it by 10 chips or something like that. Maybe it was like 26 chips he had and it cut it down to 13. So it was like literally halved. I'm waiting for 2 of these chips to arrive from... Who did I order these from? I ordered something from DigiKey, and that's my flash. I ordered 2 flash memories because I was hoping my CPU could just run off of flash to make sure it can be as fast as possible. And then, which honestly, I don't think my my regular ROM is going to slow it down at all, if I'm being honest. I really think the size of the CPU is probably holding it back enough. And then, so there's that. Next, I'm going to have everything go into a D flip-flop for the VGA. So whenever it goes out, D flip-flop connect to this. And then, what's next? Shoot, I can't remember. Oh, then I'm waiting. These are going to determine my collars and such. Or no, not my collars. What? I'm crazy. Those are going to determine the counting, the timing, and all that. So, all that being said, this is going to be an 8-bit video interface. So I'm trying to figure out how I want that to work, because I could do a 16-bit interface and then I can have more, and especially if it's black and white, I mean, how that can easily be 800 by 600. But if it was black and white, and then, yeah, I don't know. I might have to make this thing like a multi-cycle. My CPU can calculate 16 bits, and then each address, it's gonna have to, like, this will be the first pixel. Let's say that'll be the second pixel. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But either way, it shouldn't be too bad. But for now, I'm just trying to get the video interface working. It will have... I'm just waiting on 5 chips. 2 here, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here. So, yeah, 5 chips. Sorry, I'm crazy. Okay. Anyway, I don't really have a whole lot of work to do on this tonight. So what I was mainly going to look at is my instruction ALU board, which is this one up here. Can't even see it on screen. So I just brought this out to show you guys that I actually am officially working on something on my outside of the live stream, because I've been really bad about it, like I said, with like family stuff. Although, oh, you know what? I did want to do a few things. I actually brought this over here for a specific reason, and I'm hiding that. Also, what? Okay, that's 1 megahertz. So yeah, my computer should be able to easily run at 1 megahertz. But thinking about that realistically, that is not fast. I mean, that's really fast. Like, you can't even comprehend how fast that is. But for Doom, I don't even know what's like required. Doom runs on like gigahertz, man. It's not a... I don't know. So a Doom like is what I think we'll have to go for. Maybe. You guys ever see that like Star Wars arcade game? I think that's going to have to be the route that we go for when it comes to 3D graphics. Okay. I need to look at... Nope, I want to cut a few wires first. Okay. So, Here we are. Actually, I'm just gonna ditch these green. No, I'll keep the green. I'll keep the green. Dang. And maybe I will move this up here. So that way the green wire and... Oh, no. Oh, there's plenty of green. It's just not spinning. There we go. I'm building a 4-bit adder right now, but what should I learn and build next? Okay. A 4-bit adder is... So you're building the 4-bit adder with, like, rudimentary logic gates and Whoa. I'm doing it again. RAM, X, OR, and OR, right? Are you using, like, the rudimentary logic gates to build it, or are you doing, like, a 4-bit adder, like, just IC? Either way, fun stuff. I think I built all the way up to a 4-bit and then ended up going the IC route. I mean, it's really fast, because 4 bits generally, sorry. What is that called? Basically, the adders are not very fast whenever you make them the way that you normally do, like the way that schools teach you, but there's actually a look ahead, basically, bit that determines. Yep, I figured. So, that's fun. What's your, like, actual goal? Are you planning on... Are you just trying to figure out what you should do with it? Because you can go about making a calculator if you wanted. A 4-bit calculator. Which it took me the longest time. Not the longest time. I mean, I've known for a while. But it did take me a while to realize that just because it's a 4-bit doesn't mean it can't do math with, like, beyond that. Because that's, like, literally how all of our computers work. We can calculate something way beyond the scope of 64 bits, but you just have to do it in, like, different more cycles, and obviously different wirings and stuff. But to learn, okay. I'm trying to think. What would I do after that? You definitely could try making some D flip-flops. Try making some, basically, registers so you can store the 4-bit numbers into something. Because that's about what I did after the adder, was work with registers. So, I think that would be fun, personally. So you can always try that. It's probably way too long, but cutting it this way anyway. Yeah, so the parts for this won't get here until, like, Wednesday/Monday. So the video card will not get done. Not video/Monday. Or what? Wednesday is for these 2 chips. And then... Oh, I just realized I also have my clock coming. So that's going to come in later. I already pre-cut all these ground and positive wires. And then obviously everything is going to have to get connected together and such. So... Lots of stuff still. Yeah, after I connect the power and ground, I want to start working with this chip here. I want to start wiring this up and doing stuff with it. I also bought an X-Acto knife. Long awaited X-Acto knife. I have been using a, like, generic knife or scissors to cut the breadboards, and it has been really sloppy. Not cut the breadboards, like cut these strips off, the power rails. Oh, I'm falling behind on comments. I don't think you do. I mean, that's totally up to you. It's totally up to you if you want to learn that. For now, anyway. And then, am I making a GPU or a CPU? Currently, I'm working on a video interface, but I want it to be a GPU. I just don't know. I can't find anything about it. Like, I try to do research with it or on it, and everywhere is just like, oh, no, that's not a thing. And I'm like, well, obviously it is. I don't understand how there's not rudimentary graphics cards. I don't understand why there's not. Like, why is it so hard to find information on how to make a real graphics card? Because they start talking, it's like, I don't know. I Googled it. I haven't done a whole lot of Googling, and it's not like I try to find like a Ben Eater approach to stuff. So I'm like, for learning right away, I'm like, okay, let me find something Ben Eater maybe. And then he doesn't do that. And I'm like, that's totally fine. But does somebody else do something similar that just explains it, and then I adapt it for my project? But anyway, the most important part right now is that it just has video. I need to be able to see that my CPU is working properly. And what better way than just connecting it to a screen and just throwing some numbers or data on there. But yeah, so this is just a video card. Doesn't do, video interface. It just gets straight up VGA data from the computer's RAM, doesn't actually calculate or compute anything. Just has enough for VGA's VGA protocol, video protocol. Jeez. I was really sloppy with this one. Let me see if I can squeeze this power in there. So right now you must be making a core. I know just the basic difference between them. Yeah, I mean, for my CPU, yeah, I mean, it's a single. It'd be a single. I would love to get into the multi-core stuff. I mean, in all reality, that could also be a route to possibly unlocking Doom. If it was like, Doom OS. But it would have to be like crappy Doom OS. Okay. There we go. Grounds and positives are all connected, so if I power any of this up, it should all know. Okay. I'm just going to set this to the side. We're not going to do any more work on this tonight because I don't have the required chips, and I would be sad. Does anybody have a preference? Do you guys want me to wait to build this on next live stream so we could see all of that? Or are you okay if I just like build it probably over this week, make a video, and then post it on YouTube? Because I can probably get this built this week, and then it will be a full YouTube video. And it'll be my first YouTube video in forever. I really want to make more. I've just been so bad. But yeah, I want your guys' like, I mean, you're all here. You're very important to me because you're like, you decided to take time out of your day to come spend it with me live. I mean, you definitely didn't have to do that, so. All right, well, while I wait for those answers, I'm just going to put this over here in a safe area. Safe space. Well, I have to stand up for that. My bad. Sorry for the delay. I also realized that for now, I actually... Not just realized, sorry. I don't know if I said that wrong. Right away, the first thing I'm going to be doing is actually testing my CPU with just this basic LCD screen. I think that makes the most sense. But yet again, that's... Well... No, that's actually not part of a problem. Never mind. We're fine. I guess there's like 16 bits of... There's not fully 16 bits of data, but there's quite a bit of stuff. Okay, seems like we're full video. I'm totally fine with that. I would love to do like, you know, if has anybody here watched the video interface video? Because it'd be a take on that, which, oh, it's been so long. Yeah, the video interface, that literally the YouTube video for this, that's the same approach I do for the graphics, the video card. I don't know why I keep wanting to call it a graphics card. It's not even a video card either. Video interface, my bad. Oh, also, I do want to know, I really hope, do you guys think I could get this to work? It's gotta. I just need to probably install a library or write my own driver. Not my own driver. Just write my own program for it. But I hope this will work with my Flash. I can't imagine. I mean, all it does is just change all these pins to positive and negative really fast. So I can't imagine. Yeah, no. Definitely should fit on. We're good. Good. Is that dedicated chip to decoding for a 7-bit bus to ASCII output? Oh, the ROM that's on the... Here. Are you talking about this right here? This chip? This big one? This one... If you're talking about this board, the keyboard comes in as scan code. All of the scan code data gets read by these, and then this converts. All of this works together to convert. This has like the data that converts it to ASCII. So whatever scan code it is and whatever like code it comes out to, it converts it to ASCII. So whatever I type on the keyboard, there's a few conditions like your break code and your extra characters and your shift. So if I'm like holding shift down, it will just change like what the ASCII is over here, but I get that through the break code, not through like here. And then the break code, if it detects a break code at all, this just basically makes the ASCII nothing. So like null, I guess ASCII for 0 is null. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And then all the like yellow wires are, no, sorry, all the red wires are the basically just the straight up scan code, and then this is for like all the special code. Yeah, this is just a EEPROM that can read whatever like the scan code. That's the whole thing. It just converts scan code to ASCII. I think it is. I would think it's possible. Yeah, it is an I/O interface. You know, I kind of forget that word. It's not a word, but I kind of forget that's called an I/O interface. I'm just really bad at remembering some keywords. All of it's still relatively new to me. I'm trying to learn my vocab the best I can. I'm just shocked I made it this far. I'm a software engineer with a dream. That's pretty much it. I'm not quite. I'm hoping that after I learn this, I can start doing my own like ideas and stuff. And I never explained. I want to make. I hope to eventually develop this CPU into a PCB, and then hopefully I can like shrink it down, and then it will be really fast. I actually hope the whole computer could be PCB, but I'll be honest, that might be a little complicated. And then I'd love to be able to like have you guys order them. I don't even care if I make money from it or not. I just want as many people as possible to be able to get into this stuff, because I know a lot of people that are like, oh, I know that, but it's too hard. And it's like, well, maybe. Like, I never understood assembly language until NAND to Tetris, because it's such a simple it's such a simple CPU with such a simple instruction, and it's not even like a like the 6502 assembly is still somewhat like I could program in 6502 assembly. I just like it's just more difficult to understand than the assembly I'm going to be using to program this. And it's still like it's still a real like CPU and computer. It's just mine's going to be, well, it's like over $100. So, and the 6502 is like $6. So there's that. To be fair though, if my whole CPU was on a chip, it could also be $6 if it was mass produced. Anyway, enough time wasted. I wanted to add something to this. Okay. Oh, my camera's lagging. Okay, we're back. All right. This is my instruction to ALU select multiplexer. So I need to get more of these out. I want this to be, is that what this is? Yeah. That is indeed a multiplexer. I ordered a bunch more because I never thought I would actually run out of multiplexers, but that happened. Oh, come on. There we go. I only need 3. All of them want to be used. Okay. 3 more. I need 4 total. Yeah, so the idea behind this is that whatever comes out of the ALU will travel all the way up to the back to the ALU, and it will load into this. It's gonna look a little sloppy, but it's the best I got. I also hope to make... that's kind of part of the problem. So I hope to have the ALU basically run into a bus system here. Like this is going to be a little bit of a bus for all the ALU output. And then I'll be able to make multiple connections because several things need that like straight up input and then, or output, whatever. It's ALU output technically. But I need to pull up this tag and I'll just shift this over here. What was my idea for this? This is my, so this is where my instructions come in for my ROM, from my ROM. Ooh. Hang on. I might have just thought of a new way to assemble this. I don't know if that's the best route. You know, honestly, why not? Okay, I think this is where my ROM's gonna be. I think my ROM's gonna connect here, and then this is where the output of the ALU goes, and then the output of the ALU. Hang on. Okay, goodbye, Computer Animates. Thank you for chatting with me. Okay, let's think about this logically. The program counter, I still haven't decided where the ROM's going to be. Obviously, the ROM's not the CPU, but it's, you know, I mean, why not include it? I mean, this whole thing's going to look like a mess anyway. So, I was doing some nonsense down here. You can ignore that. I was trying to think of math stuff for a Python project I was doing. Okay. Oh, also, I meant to ask everybody, how would you guys feel about, because I know I'm trying to find more videos I can make when I'm in the middle of like doing this stuff. And I am a software engineer. So, and I've said that like way too many times tonight, and I apologize. But how would anybody feel about programming tutorials? Not like, for example, how to make a programming language, and I can even go as far as to be like, how do you make Pong and stuff like that. And I don't have to even be exclusively my language. I can even like convert, like, how would my C-like language compare to C#? Like, I mean, that doesn't even make sense because in all honesty, it's gonna have the same principles. So that doesn't even matter. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of more videos I can make that wouldn't be too off topic. Okay. Enough yapping. I do that too much. Okay. Instruction, ALU. ALU's output goes there. And then, in all reality, program counter's over here. Could feed program counter here. Program counter needs, let's think about this with ROM. Not ROM, RAM. CPU, control logic. Even my ALU out is going to need to go to RAM anyway, to the RAM bus. Huh. Yeah, I think this is gonna be a mess. I wish I made the ALU a little bit more logically, because I was thinking of it from top to bottom, and how some other people did it was way better. I really wish I thought this through. I mean, too late. The ALU is built and all the wires are cut and it works. So that's the most important part, is that the ALU works, and I can always update it for the PCB. I just need to think about how everything else works. So I'm just going to connect these for now. Okay. Ooh, I bought a new book today. I actually bought 2 new books. I purchased The Art of War. And that was something that the girlfriend wanted, actually. But I want to read it too. Do you hear me talking? She heard me say her name. Well, not her actual name, but her title. Girlfriend. My title's boyfriend to her, so it's okay. Guys, I'm really... I think I'm just gonna have to commit to what I have. I mean, I think I'm also running out of 245s. My Octobus transceivers. Is that what they're called? I think I needed... whatever. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what's the best way of going about this. I could build this mux just like... That might get really messy. I don't know. Oh, no. Oh, darn it. All right. I'm glad you stopped by, science lover. I hope to see you around. Thank you for tuning in. I enjoyed the chats. Okay. All right. So we have that. Our ALU, let's move the RAM out of the way. I only did that just I was in the middle of doing something and then I had to start the live stream, so that's why that was there. Okay. We actually have like everything, almost all these really important chips here, which for now, this can chill here. Okay. Instruction, ALU out goes here. ALU out is also going to have to go to RAM. And RAM's going to take up this whole block. Unless if... Guys, I think I'm going to be really messy for a little bit when it comes to this wiring. I think I'm going to like literally just do jumper cables over to there and then maybe just have them go straight to the RAM. I don't know what to put here. I obviously need a lot of space for RAM. Do I? Maybe program counter. Golly. Bless you. You're welcome. See, whenever you start bringing all the other components in, because it's like, here is going to be... Did I expect ROM to be here? What's going to be here? I can have clock here. I think I was expecting clock to be here. But clock being central makes a lot more sense, because I'm going to need clock to power the RAM. I'm going to need it to power the program counter. Not ROM. All of the registers. So, boom, 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 boom. That register. Clock can be here. Maybe this could be like clock and reset. And then all of this can be like my clock, and I just change what I want to be going on. This is for a 16-bit CPU. If you've ever done the NAND to Tetris course or like heard about it, I'm pretty much just doing that computer. It's the exact, like, if you made any programs with that CPU, you should be golden if you wanted to make any programs for my CPU, because it's almost identical. The only difference is that mine will have color. Well, anyway. Okay. Yeah, I think for now, I'm just going to play around with the idea. I need my pen. Here it is. I'm going to play around with the idea that we kind of have a clock here. Clock. And then like a reset here. So it's like dead center. Because 1, 2, 3, RAM, keyboard interface. Yeah, that's like dead center. Because I'm going to have... Oh my gosh, this is so big. Hey, that's so cool. I actually just purchased some Z80s. I don't know what to do with them yet. I kind of purchased them to test with other things, just to like, I don't know, just for fun, if I just wanted to do something. But that's really cool. Are you like going through Z80 documentation and like completely designing everything yourself, like logic wise, or are you following like, is there like a book guide you found or an article, or like I'm just curious where you're coming from, because that's going to be more complex than mine. Does the Z80 deal with, is it an 8-bit instruction or is the Z80 an 8-bit but can do 16-bit like functions basically? Like its instructions might, no, I don't know. I can't remember. That's really cool. I really wish you great luck on that journey. That sounds... I have a whole guide for my stuff. I mean, a guide, the logic and everything is my guide. So there's that. But you're making your own, like, that's your own logic. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, I thought it was an 8-bit, but it does do, I mean, 6502 has 16-bit as well. I'm just trying to think of the 8-bit. What is that? I don't know. I just know it can handle 16-bit numbers just like its instruction base is 8-bit or whatever. Okay. So. Of course. 16-bit addressing. Yes. Okay. I think those are good. I don't even know if I want RAM to waste a whole thing there. Try to figure out how to be logical. Maybe... Okay. Think this is my whole computer pretty much in a nutshell. I think that makes the most sense to me. Although this will have to jump over here. That gets instruction from program counter, which A register controls program counter. ROM goes... See, that's part of the problem. The ROM needs to go... I guess ROM can travel there. You know, maybe I should just do ROM here. ROM here, program counter. I think I may do that. Okay. ROM. Right there. Okay. I'm still trying to map everything out. Oh, that's actually... Oh, I don't know why I didn't even think of this. I might not even have enough space for ROM right there. Because ROM... You know what? They're the same size as this. Can this fit right there? No, it cannot. Never mind. I think ROM's just gonna have to chill where it's at. It's fine. The program counter has direct access to ROM. Should be fine. And then that'll give it plenty of space on its own chip anyway. It'll need it. Okay. Still need to figure out the video card thing. Video interface. 800 by 600 or do I want color? I really do want color. I think color is pretty, like, it's boring if you don't have color. But if I don't have color, I can have a really big screen. Anyway, color. And then do I want to do, like, if my processor can do 16-bit stuff and my video interface is 8-bit, that can actually be very beneficial. Like, that means I can do almost double the processing power per, like, video interface RAM, whatever, bit, 2 bits per instruction or whatever. Not per instruction, per fully computed output. Per output could be 2 bits. But if I do 16-bit caller, then I have a really good spectrum. But then that goes down. I don't know. It's a lot to think about for now. Anyway, okay. I think it's time to pull this up and start looking at some wiring stuff. It seems like a few more people have tuned in. So how's everybody's Friday going? Some of you might already be on to Saturday. So I'm curious how everybody's going. How is everybody? Okay. I need my 157 74 LS 157 data sheet. Open a new tab. Perfect. And then I also need the 245s. Yep. 74 LS 245 data sheet. Let's pull that up. Open a new tab. Okay. And then do I need? No, everything should be. Oh, that's control logic. I don't want to look at that yet. Ugh. The control logic's going to be an absolute nightmare. I don't. Okay, first of all, how many? Is it 5 NAND gates to make a D flip-flop? How many NAND gates to make a D flip-flop? I'm going to need a D flip-flop to store 1, not 2. D flip-flop. It is a not and 4 NANDs. I might have a spare. Okay, hang on. I may have a spare not in here. And then I can just use some NANDs to make a flip-flop with. So, probably do that. Okay, I'm trying to think through my problems. Also, that's gonna bother me. Where's my X-Acto knife? Time to make a little cut. Oh no. My desk is a mess, by the way. Whenever I have to film the next video, it's gonna be... Oh, I found it. Whenever I make the next video, which sounds like next Friday will be the next video. I'm actually so excited to finally make a video. Like, get one out. I feel so guilty. Like... So I need a flip-flop to store a value. So basically, in my circuit, I have to have a my CPU's I'm turning what was originally a single cycle CPU into a multi-cycle CPU because my RAM, it can't be read and written to at the exact same time. My RAM, I don't think that is ever a real thing. But when you're programming it, you can do whatever the heck you want. So Nanda Tetris was able to skip over that. But in the real world, you kind of have to do one thing at a time. So I have a read-write D flip-flop in my schematics. And this basically just stores a 1 bit letting me know, am I in the read-write cycle? If not, I can do everything like normal. If I am, do not. I think it's load into the M register instead, and then we just like do a whole second cycle. So the 555 is a good idea. I just think it won't solve what I'm looking for. Okay. Now, let's make a cut on this because it's bothering me. Oh no, I just sliced up my breadboard. Okay, maybe I should go from this angle. I actually have 2 videos planned, so I'm very good chip. Yeah, I actually have like 15 555 timers. I don't know like why. I don't need, I mean, okay. I do not I'm starting to get a lot better at thinking in electronics now that I've officially started doing some real projects with them. Like my ALU, that's such a, to me, it's so simple, but I can do super simple stuff and I can get a super simple output. I can't build upon that because we don't have variables / RAM, I guess. So I can't like, I'll have to like manually be like, okay, I want to use this number now. But regardless, it's still practical. It does one math item really fast, so I can blah blah blah. Anyway, point being, I'm getting off topic. I was curious, what do you use for 5.5? Like, what projects do you use 5.55s in? Because here, I have a 5.55 for my literal clock, but that's just so I can have a really slow clock. Like, I think this one is around, I don't even know. Not fast. That's all I can tell you. I think it's like 7 hertz. Yeah, however fast that is, you can see it. Although, yeah. So your Z80 build, are you using it for your actual processor clock, or what's the 5.55 for? I knew what you meant by the 5.55s. So no stress there. What's the Z80 build using the 5.55s for? It sounds like, are you using multiple? I know I'm gonna have my own. I'm gonna have like 2 dedicated clocks going. Do know that because my VGA needs a 20 megahertz, and my CPU is only gonna be running like 2 at the most. I hope to bump it up eventually. I think the flash should solve that. Wait, I need to know. What ROM do I use? It's like AT28C256 data sheet. And I just want to know how fast I can go. Oh gosh. I think it's just that one. What's its operation speed? Okay. The 555s are used for flip-flops in some gates. Oh, I see what you mean. Okay. What kind of gates are using the 555s? Huh. Oh gosh. Okay. Eek. So it works at 150 nanoseconds. Yeah. I'm a little worried about that. But I'm praying. So it turns out my CPU, it looks like okay. Somebody else built this CPU, like mine's different. But it's pretty much about the same, and they were having difficulty running it above 2 megahertz. They ran it at 4 megahertz, and it was already running into stability problems. But apparently, this IC or the actual ROM that I'm using, EEPROM, it can go up to 6 megahertz, about like a little bit more than that. So I don't think that's going to be my problem for now. Maybe I should look into multi-cycle CPU, or not multi-cycle, multi-core CPUs. I don't even know the first place to start. I'm going to keep this out for now. So I'm going to need the X-Acto knife. I'll let you know how the flash goes. I'm very scared. Also, what are these? Oh, these are my 74LS30s. I was going to use a bunch of these, and I had an idea, and I think I can actually save a lot of space on my keyboard interface. But, you know, I already built it. It works fine. It's fine. I just have them for anything else I need to basically do any, what is that? Serial interface? Nope. Wait. Is that called serial interfaces? I don't even remember. I forgot. Anyway, whatever. You're not sure what you're going to use the 555s for, flip-flops, and at least 2 other types, and NOR. Wow. Intriguing. Okay. Well, if you're not in my Discord, which I'm not trying to like advertise my Discord, it's just you can share pictures on there, so that's kind of the big deal. But I would love to see your Z80 progress. So if you would like to join the Discord, and you can start posting your like stuff in there. My Discord has about 100 people on it, and most of them don't talk on there, and that's okay because it's like it's kind of. I mean, it's only 100 people. It's kind of dead, but it's not really getting utilized too much. And I just think the more people that are on there, the more it can get utilized. And I just want like I don't know. It's just sad that it's there, and a lot of people are there, and a lot of them are gonna forget about it. So, hey, so we're both new to this. Yeah, no stress. Just like the biggest thing is for me, I just know I have a big like I don't know. Once you put your mind to something, you've got this. That's my understanding. Okay. Well, let me get out a NAND. Okay, my NAND's gonna be in there, but I'll. What chip is that? Oh, okay. Yeah, I invested greatly in a bunch of EEPROMs. Oh. Oh, send a link to the Discord. Sorry, I thought you said you sent a link in the Discord, and I was like, oh, I want to look. Okay. I think the easiest way for you might be to go to my YouTube channel and just click on the link, because I think I don't know. I can try. I don't know if like sending it in chat will help much. We'll see. Yeah, I have links. Yeah, if you go to my YouTube channel, there's a link that's like Discord. Here's the link. I don't know if you can click it, but that's the link to the Discord. Okay. I wasn't looking for those though. Ugh. A big box of stuff. They're right here. Are these my 6502s or my... Yeah, so I have two 6502s just for fun. Where's my Z80s? That's not it. What are these? Well, not a Z80, so it doesn't matter. Are they in here? Nope, those are resistors. Here it is. Here's my Z80s. You're welcome. Yeah, here's my Z80s. I have no clue. I don't even know. I just bought. They were there was like a sale, and I just saw they were 6502s, and they were the ones that were compatible with something. So I don't even remember. I just saw, oh, they're like $2 right now on Jameco. So I just purchased them. I haven't even opened this. So, and I can't really read it through there. So we'll find out together. Maybe, unless if it doesn't say on the top of them. So when did you get into the, like, building computer realm? Because you said it was, like, new to you. I'm not gonna lie. I have no clue what it is. I don't know if you can read that. That's what 65. I don't know what I have. I don't know. Is it... Is it the original? Is the I'm trying to figure out what MOS 65, like how can I determine whether or not I have a MOS 6502? W6502 S6 TPG14. I'll put it in chat so you can see it. W6502 S6 TPG dash 14. Oh, it'll have a stamp that says MOS. I do not have a stamp that says MOS. I see a stamp that says WDC, but I don't know if that looks like it could be the manufacturer. I don't think there's anything on the other side. Well, too bad, I guess. But guess good to know. I didn't know that was a thing, really. Okay. Well, did I put my Z80s up? Did I? Well, I'm gonna have to assume I did. I don't see them anywhere. Okay. Western Designs. Got it, got it. Oh, there's my Zylogs. Okay. Yep, there we go. All right. Anyway. Literally went in there to get my NAND gates. Okay. I have all my little... I have two 10 hertz, and then I have a 20 hertz on the way. 1 megahertz, a 2 megahertz, which is what this will run on, and then another 10 megahertz. And then my NAND, this is my NAND. Yeah. Anyway, like I said, I just saw that they were on sale whenever I was buying it, and I was like, might as well. Seems cool. Seems fun. Okay. Then we have a NAND, and that will be my... Oops. I actually want to put that back into its sleeve. I don't even know if these sleeves are anti-static. No, you're fine. No worries. I just like keeping them in there. Makes it feel like I'm at least trying to keep my ICs a little safe. I got the bulk of my ICs from AliExpress, but my very first order was from Uturlek, and they're awesome, like really cheap. However, like I think I got almost all of my ICs I needed for my ALU for, and like most of my I think my A register, my D register, my ALU, program counter, some of my control logic, pretty much got all of those chips for $20. And then it was all the extra little stuff that I needed to purchase. Like I didn't buy EEPROM because they didn't have it on FutureLEC. They didn't have it available on FutureLEC. So I had to wait. I'm gonna shorten that. There we go. Should be able to fit that in this now. There we go. Fits nicely. Okay. probably clarify what this one chip is doing, just so I'm not totally lost. Added that in right here, right? Yes. Okay. I think I'm using, I can't even remember. My RAM should say, right? Actually, it doesn't. A 512 ROM, a 512K, or a just 512? What is that? A would just 512? Like, no. I don't know. Okay, I need to write on here really fast. Actually, I should, oh no, I don't have scissors. Okay, X-Acto knife it is. I think my everything is 32K. 512K, wow. Yeah. Okay, there we go. Should be good. Yeah, that's what I figured. And I just have a bunch of 32Ks, so I'll just have Pong on one, for example, and then I'll have Tetris on another. I mean, I don't plan on doing much. I do hope to have storage, though. So I hope to make a, like, extremely basic DOS. Obviously, I'll just have to have my BIOS. Eventually, my ROM will just have a BIOS version that just boots from storage. I just need to figure out how. I think I already said this earlier, but I'm gonna probably do just an SD card reader, and then I'm just gonna buy like really tiny SD cards. Like, I don't even, do they even make 20 megabyte SD cards, or are they gonna have to be like really old? Oh, no kidding. That'd be cool. That sounds like a fun project. I just need to get my Z80. Like, I just need to build something to get those working. Luckily, my video interface should immediately work for both of them. And also, why did you choose Z80 over like 6502 or just like your own custom? Curious why. Why Z80? Okay, this will be for my, I think I'm calling it RDRW. Okay. Oh, apparently it doesn't. Oh no. All that effort and it just stuck to that. I figured I probably couldn't get a 20 megabyte. Well, that's what I am. I'm the programmer. I don't even know a whole lot about this hardware stuff. I'm just winging it as I go, and luckily I've managed to build an ALU. So, you know, I that's enough motivation. I managed to make my own like keyboard interface, and it was like Ben Eater's videos were helpful, but I wanted them to go straight to ASCII. I didn't watch to see if he actually did convert them to ASCII, but that's what I did anyway. An 8086 would be a great. The whole IBM 8080s are really cool. That's what I even have. Ugh. Hang on. I don't know if you were here last live stream. That's what's in this dude. I know. Ben Eater's so awesome. Yeah, so I have this guy. I don't even know if I can zoom out. Whoa. Maybe. Yeah, so this came from a coworker of mine. They were like, hey, my dad's old laptop, he doesn't use it anymore. He doesn't need it. So how about that? And I'm like, heck yeah. So I said, sure. And I took it. I mean, they just gave it to me. It turns on. It doesn't really boot up anymore, but I managed to change the boot up message and everything. But I think the capacitors or the battery just kind of gave up. So I'm trying to figure out how to manage that. But this has an IBM Intel, whatever it is. I don't remember. Anyway, it's from the 80s, an 80s laptop. So. Yeah, I want to make a video with that, and I would like to, sorry, trying to adjust the camera back to where it was. There we go. I think that's right. Okay. Yeah, I want to make a YouTube video with that laptop for sure. Like, it's so cool. But it's running MS-DOS 5.0, and that's what all the floppy disks are for. In fact, before it died, I managed. I hope it works. I actually didn't test it. But I have MS-DOS 5.0. I got it formatted on a floppy disk before. I like literally unplugged it, plugged it in the next day, and it just didn't work. And I was like, fantastic. Wrong one. This is my MS-DOS bootable floppy disk. And then yeah, so I have that. And then I have a bunch of these that I purchased from Amazon. And then some kind soul, never mind. I don't know why I said that. And then I purchased something from eBay. 5 is better than 4. Fair enough. I have no clue. I assume you're talking about the MS-DOS version. I really like 5 so far. I mean, that's the only one I've ever played around with, so I have no clue what to expect from 4. But I figured with the old computer, it'd be awesome to have my own floppy disk collection. So I have a bunch of blank floppies, and they are indeed compatible. So yeah. Anyway, I was like, sure, why not? Let's go through and buy some floppy disks. Oh wow, these are not all the same, are they? Oh yeah, they are. Cool. But yeah, I purchased this for $30 from Amazon. I was like, that's awesome. Or not Amazon, eBay. I was like, cool. I don't know how much. I kind of forgot. It was kind of around there. But anyway, I should have enough floppy disks to hold a lot. But do you think... Well, never mind. I don't even know why I was going to ask that. I was going to ask if you thought I could get floppy disk. If I can get my hand-built computer to read a floppy disk. But if the freaking... I bet... Can a Z80 do that? I think it can. All it is just hardware. Yeah. So if I just purchase a floppy disk controller, well, yeah, no, there's like no way I'd be able to make a floppy disk controller. I'm gonna be honest. That's like actual fancy, like you need the good equipments. But either way, I think it'd be really cool. That's sick. That's so cool. I was gonna ask. I think I asked if the Z80 could run a floppy disk. I was gonna ask if my computer could, and I don't even know why I was asking because it's obviously just hardware based. It's not even like you just need a floppy disk controller. You can do whatever you want. I mean, I think all you need is 8 bits, and then you can pretty much do whatever you need to. Because you can just create special registers and such to be able to hold that. Yeah, it would be, but think about that. Think about that'd be so cool. Also, unfortunately, so another coworker of mine, I work at a school, by the way. I'm a teacher, a high school. I'm a programming teacher at a high school. And I don't mind the job. Where did they go? Somewhere on my desk, I have 3 floppy disks that one of my coworkers found on their desk. I found them. Okay. One of these I cannot show you because it will give away my location. Everything else is fine. So, here's 2 floppy disks. These were found in the drawers. I opened them up and they still have original 3D objects on them. From 3D model software from the 1992, I think. So that was it might have been 98. I think it was 98 or 96. I don't know. I can't remember. Either way, it was really, really cool find. And then the other floppy disk, I can show you this side. I just can't show you the other side because it has my school's name on it because that used to be what they would give out. This one had a bunch of stuff on it, like 100 files, all really tiny, but there was a bunch of I forgot the file format. I could find it really fast. I guess it probably doesn't matter if most of you might not know it. I didn't know the file format. DWG file. So it was a .dwg. I had never seen it, but apparently they are basically 3D point data. So anyway, really cool. She just found it in her desk and she was like, hey, do you want to see if there's anything on these? And I was like, heck yeah. I have the floppy disk reader. Okay. Oh, I need to actually. I don't. You know what? The Raspberry Pi is just gonna have to. It's gonna have to risk its little life, or. Yeah, I do believe it. It was a drawing file, but it wasn't for AutoCAD because it was from 1996, and I don't think AutoCAD was a thing. Could have been an old version. It was definitely something like CAD. It was a CAD software. But I wasn't even aware CAD existed. I mean, that's older than me. I'm literally only 24. So I don't know. I didn't live that time. Okay. That should be good. And I just want to clean this up. Easy. Easy. It really was. Okay. Well, I think these files, I can actually, I don't know why I didn't even click on properties. I could tell you when the file was made. I have it on my computer, so. Downloads. Where did I put this thing? But yeah, anyway, I never even said it, I don't think, but the green floppy disk, it completely, I lost all the data and I didn't even get any of it off. And I'm not a floppy forensic, so wow. Well, yeah, no, I had no clue. Like, I didn't even know a laptop was even possible, which, I mean, I didn't know the laptops were even possible in the 80s. Because I actually opened it up, and the physical hardware was like the actual primary motherboard only would took up like that much space in the entire laptop. And I understand it's super basic. Like, it runs MS-DOS. It's on an 8080 Intel microprocessor. I don't even remember how much RAM, but it's probably somewhere in like the 64 kilobyte range. Let me think. And then it had 20 megabyte hard drive, and then I had a floppy disk reader. But the actual motherboard was only this big. Okay. I figured not AutoCAD. AutoCAD seems relatively old. 1994. That is when that is the file. It's under properties. The last time it was modified was August 24th, 1994. I'm honestly shocked. Oh, on the green floppy. Fair enough. That makes sense. I guess there probably wasn't much going on anyway. But the teacher wanted to know what was on it. She was just curious because she was like, maybe I can see what they were trying to make in 94. Oh, nice. I had whenever I was in high school, which was actually ironically in this teacher's class. She was not working there then. She's not that old. I mean, I'm not that old either, but she's only 4 or 5 years older than me. But she in that classroom, I was what do you want to call it? I was doing like that. I was like I was drafting like machine parts by hand. Everything was like, it was like the 3D objects and all that. Like we had to do like a metal machine part, and you had to do everything by hand. And we literally had Chromebooks. They suck, but we literally had something that could do something like with the software. But they didn't care. They were like, it's an old school, very vocational school. The school is very much enjoyed their vocational. Read, write. Read, write. I need that to dry now. All right. Okay. Let me make sure this is the right thing. It's my NAND. It's my NAND. Oh no, please stick. Okay. We're golden. It's my read write. It's a little bit too wide, but it'll suffice. Okay. We're good there. This is my NM control logic board here. And then my normal control logic will be like that. So I think I'll just go ahead and take this power rail off. This is the convenience of the X-Acto knife. It makes this whole process so smooth. Well, I was hoping. Um, for one of my classes, um, I really want to teach the Nanda Tetris course, and the school was very pro this decision. Like they were like, "Yeah, that sounds really cool," but they were like, "We can't actually make that change until." What did they say? It was 2029, they told me. And first of all, that's like for me, that's a long time. I mean, that'd mean I'd be teaching there for a total of 5 years. And I haven't even been in the job force for that long. You're going to use a CF card and reader as my hard drive. Oh. Yeah, 2029. I'm trying to figure out how the CF card is going to work. I mean, I trust you. I'm just trying to think about it logically. So are you going to have a USB like I'm trying to think. Anyway. I guess you can explain really quickly. Are you going to have like a USB protocol, or are you just going to manage to, cuz I think if you design it, obviously the CF card reader is going to work its very specific way. There is. Wow. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. That's actually. So, how much storage? Okay, this is the question that like I said, Oh, okay. So PS2. Okay, so here's my hardware question. I've told you. I did this the wrong way. That's okay. It won't hurt me. But because I just one of these breadboards are just going to be really sad looking. But and I think it's going to be this breadboard that I have in my hand right now. Okay, hardware question. So, how much storage are you going to have? Like, how much is this card going to have on it? Cuz that is my real question. Oh, yeah. One of these for my keyboard format, a PS2. Yeah, it was way better just to go the PS2 route than the USB. It's such a rudimentary, it's just really simple. But this wire did get extremely mangled. I had to solder new wires of colors of my choosing. 512 megs. Okay. Now, that's a lot. That's how exactly is this the best way I could describe it? Is it like with a clock and pulse? I don't even know what that's called, but it's like the do you just like pulse it if you're trying to access a specific how do you want to say? If you're trying to access a specific like location in your storage, is it similar to like the PS2 like keyboard connection where you just like you just send like 24 clock pulses, and then that could be 24 bits of data, and wherever it's at, it will, be there. Like it'll be, if you send 24 clock pulses and then you just have whichever bit on the data line is on, that will be that way. Is that how that works? Because that's the only way I can picture how you can access. Obviously, I don't know how storage even works. I'm not gonna lie. That's totally, I haven't even thought about that. That's a future me problem, not a now me. Like I don't even have the CPU built, so I don't even have storage in mind. But like storage, okay. But storage, they still work similar to like a ROM, for example, where it's like you still access your storage in addresses. As in like this address holds 8 bits of data, and then 8 bits, 8 bits, 8 bits. And then you just throw out which address, but instead of accessing it with 16 data pins, you just go 2 data pins and you just pulse it a bunch. And then it loads into like a shift register. Okay. You can build code into your ROM for storage. Okay. Trying to think about this. But it's like your ROM can't save storage. I mean, your CPU is not supposed to rewrite your ROM. So what does that mean? I'm trying to understand the build code into your ROM. Oh, I see what you mean. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Never mind. I get that. Okay. No, I know what you're talking about now. Okay. Sorry. I thought you meant like you could divide your ROM into like having storage, and then I was like, that, I mean, it is storage, but okay. But it's a read only. Okay, that makes sense. Sorry. I just I'm running on fumes tonight. I didn't even drink my tea this morning. That's my usual caffeine. Although I had a little bit of coffee, just a little bit, but in general, I can't really do much caffeine. But tea's usually my little bit of caffeine, and I didn't even drink that this morning. And that was, I don't know, whatever 5 a.m. was, and it's 10 now. So I can't even do math anymore. That's how bad it is. This is the point where I say the computer does the math for me. Okay. We have that. For now, I'm just going to throw this down there. And point an arrow up, showing me that that goes there. Okay, so it doesn't actually matter. So I can have 512 megabytes of storage on my 16-bit CPU. And it's like, there's like no way I'm ever going to use that much. I am a teacher. I don't know how. I have a license and all. Not on purpose. It was a I didn't go to college for teaching. I just went for software engineering. But there's cool programs now that basically get you a teaching license without going to college. You just have to like go take a few classes. If you have a bachelor's degree nowadays, you can pretty much be a teacher. In whatever field you want, pretty much. Crazy stuff. Okay. Let's think I know how the data sheet looks for all the basic logic gate chips, but I like to be safe. Let me look at the 74LS00. Okay, yep, normal. Pin 14 and pin 7. Okay. I don't even know how long that needs to be, but I'm going with that long. I just realized every single one of these chips are going to need a positive and a negative connection. It's a nightmare. You're self-taught? I mean, at this point, I'm pretty much self-taught with all the hardware. It's the software part that's college trained. But I've been Eater's also self-taught, which you'd never think that. But I mean, you're living, I guess you're kind of like living proof as well that it's completely possible. And I hope I can eventually become living proof. Right now I can understand, like, if you're watching this, you're like, this guy's literally has no clue what he's doing. And there might be some truth to that. I mean, I feel like I know what I'm doing, but it might appear as if I don't. And maybe I have too much confidence, and the reality is that I don't know what I'm doing. But I'm getting to the point where data sheets make sense. That took a long time, I'm not gonna lie. I hope I'm not cutting all these wires and they're too short either. That would be depressing. But I do need all of these. But yeah, I'm so excited. Once the CPU is fully built, I'm not even counting how many I cut. I'm just gonna wing it. Okay, I'm so excited. Once the whole CPU is built, I'm like, I cannot wait for the programming part. I was teaching my students about, like, just thinking about math and programming, and I'm teaching like students that have never even like done any sort of programming, and we're doing block for the freshmen, and most of them are like freaking out. Like, they're like, I can't do this, and I'm like, guys, it's really like, you're making yourself feel like you can't, but in all reality, you just have to, like, you've all done this in math. Like, I'm just trying to get them to do basic algebra, and that's it. And it's block. It's Python block, but it's block. Honestly, I do think block's harder than real typing programming, text-based programming. But regardless, it's like, I don't know. I just think it's so cool. And then I have my senior class, and they all, like, I program tic-tac-toe for them, and I'm like, here, just look at this. And they're like so lost. And all I'm using an array. I'm trying to get them used to the world of arrays, because in all reality, that's what all, like, if you're going to be a programmer, you kind of got to know how to use an array. So that's teach assembly. Okay, hear me out. I'm totally willing to teach this assembly, but I think I and my students will be hitting our heads against the wall if I teach like x86 assembly or ARM assembly. I would love to learn, like, I want to learn Raspberry Pi assembly. There's no reason. That's ARM assembly, I guess. I don't know why I called it Raspberry Pi. But I would love to learn ARM assembly because I have a few projects, and I just think it's really cool stuff. Okay, I'm just gonna like go ahead and cut all these wires. Just gonna do it like this. I'll just place them down at these random spots. Exactly. Yeah, no, I'm good. I don't think I could do it. I don't think I could teach them that assembly. I think I could teach them it took me a long time to wrap my head around just what assembly is, because you're taught learning what, like, you're just taught programming with variables and all these things. And yes, variables exist, but you never really knew what a variable was. Like, you always heard ARM is an amazing CPU. What a story there. I have no clue the difference between ARM and x86. I don't even know, like, I can tell, like, I can see Raspberry Pis are, they get, like, a Raspberry Pi 4 and 5, they're full-on desktops, and they're ARM, like, ARM processors. So it's not like I can even figure out, I don't know. I don't really know. I don't know. Anyway, I should continue talking about the assembly. So, yeah, it's you always hear that low level. You're always, like, you're talking about variables and all that, and you never really think about the fact that a variable is just a number in RAM. And then you hear data types, and then you're like, oh, a data type is, like, you never really understand, like, why you need data types, because school doesn't actually teach you that. I mean, maybe if you go, like, somewhere fancy, Harvard, I don't know. But my school didn't teach us why data type. They just taught us, here are the data types, and then here's a string. I didn't even realize a string was a data structure. They said string's a data type because Python says string's a data type, but it's a data structure because it's an array of characters, which, guess what? Took me forever, but I didn't know that until all that. The makers of the BBC Micro 70s Acorn were the ones who came up with the ARM processor. How old is the ARM processor? Which, if I remember correctly, the I don't want to say something stupid. Hang on. What? x86 architecture. Okay, yes. I'm not dumb. Okay, so I was gonna say, isn't the x86 was basically the evolution of what the 8086 microprocessor? Okay, yeah, I googled it. I got my answer. I didn't even need it, but okay. So that is basically that. Yeah. So just learning programming. And then I just wanted more answers. So I was just like, heck. And then I found Nanda Tetris. And then I went through that course. And I was like, whoa. And I was like, I got to make that. 1985. ARM is quite old, isn't it? I mean, for how old computers are in general, ARM is pretty old. My hands are getting really hot now. Intriguing. I'm curious. Like, I don't know. I learned about pseudo instructions, and I'm really scared that I'm gonna go ham on my assembly language and just do a ton of, like, pseudo instructions. And I don't even know, like, when it stops being pseudo instructions and just starts being nonsense. Like, is there a cap to pseudo? Is it called? I do believe it's called pseudo instructions. Can refer to two main concepts: high-level simplified pseudocode used to design algorithms, and pseudo instructions in assembly language that are translated by an assembler into multiple real machine instructions. Yes. Is there a limit to how many pseudo instructions you can have? Like, how many? If I literally have, like, one command and then I, like, input two things, like two numbers or something, or a variable, whatever. That's just okay. Can I have, like, 200 instructions? Obviously, that is totally insane. But is that still a pseudo instruction, you know? All right. Yeah. Somebody was telling me about ARM processors and how they have something called a pseudo instruction. And I was like, I was literally thinking of pseudo instructions before I knew what a pseudo instruction was. And I was like, okay. And then I was like, dang, I thought I was being fancy. Although it makes sense considering pseudo instructions are probably older than me and it's not that hard to come up with. Oh, how about I just make code that writes more code? Because that's literally what high level programming languages are. So writing code that produces more code, or write code that translates to larger segments of code. Although I will admit, pseudo instructions almost seem like cheating because that's like almost just straight up high level programming language. Okay, there we go. And now we just mark where I need to cut these. So whenever I was building, like starting to construct my video interface yesterday, I was listening to some Frank Sinatra. And then I just remembered yesterday that Frank Sinatra was apparently a part of the mafia. Totally random. I gave my students yeah. I gave my students that nice rude awakening today. And I was like, did you guys know that Frank Sinatra was a part of the mafia? They were like, what? I was like, yeah. I don't know what his role was. I don't know if it was like how... I assume it's kind... I don't know. I don't know my actual, like, stuff. All right, let's go ahead and supply power to these guys. I'm just like going on about everything, aren't I? Talking about everything but the actual... Well, I guess that's kind of what streaming's for. But anyway, like I said, I'm having a blast because now that I know kind of how computers work just a little better. He wasn't a part of them, he was a friend of some of the big guys. That makes sense. Yeah. That makes sense. I assumed it was sort of like modern day... How do you want to call it? Like some people that are in the music industry like have connections, and then you're like, if you join like basically a gang or something, they can get you what you want. And I didn't know if that was kind of like how Frank Sinatra started. But anyway. Oh, come on. These breadboards are so cheap. There we go. Sometimes you just have to like press them in a funky way for them to actually go in. Okay. But yeah, now that I know how computers work, I'm having a blast explaining to my students like just how everything works. And most of them are like, I really don't care. And I'm like, you're in my class, deal with it. You're in computing 101. I do force them to learn ASCII because that is in the standards of my state. It's a required class. I don't remember what I said. Which part I need to say again. I remember saying something along the lines of, now that I am officially... No, now that I know officially like how computers are how computers work hardware wise, I'm like forcing my students to learn all that. I don't know if that's what you're talking about or if it's something before that. Let me know if the music's too loud. That could definitely be a problem. I was hoping to get some word on that earlier, but it's a-okay. Also, I do not know how much of the stream is delayed. I'm a little worried that it's quite delayed now. Okay. Yeah. I have like so many. Okay, good. The music's good. I have so many things. Like, as you can see, there's like a tic-tac-toe board down here, and that was just me thinking about like how could I program it. Well, okay. I think during my last live stream, I was just talking about how there was a bot that put an X over one of the O's, and I was like, that's pretty funny. But I was thinking about trajectories because I was trying to do in Python Turtle. I don't know if you know what that is, but in the graphics library Turtle used with Python, I was able to turn off animations, so I was able to make everything like move as fast as possible. Like, there's this attribute called speed, and that just makes it so the animation plays as fast as it can. But I just learned that you can just fully disable animations in general using this command called window tracer. And if you call window tracer, it just makes everything move really fast, and all the objects can basically move at the same time instead of taking turns. So I decided I was gonna make a DVD, like the DVD, you know, like the old, I say old, I don't like want to age people, but you know, like the little DVD thing where it'd go like bounce, 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 and you'd wait for it to like hit a corner, on your like DVD players. I don't know. That was my childhood. I know everybody's a different age, but I do know most of my students never experienced the tube TVs. First of all, you put your hands against them and you'd feel all the static. That was an experience, and honestly really nostalgic. And then along with that, loading a VHS. So many teachers, like fellow coworkers of mine, like they're obviously much older than me, but some of them are like, you probably don't even know what a VHS is. And I was like, man, you like fail to understand. We're from the Midwest. We don't things didn't progress here very fast. Yes, I had a VHS player. It was in my room. I mean, like, things were like better. I doubt everybody had a TV in their room growing up at their age, but did have a VHS player. So, I don't know. Either way. Okay, let's cut this one to the correct size. This one needs to be cut here. Okay. Yeah, I brought in, no, I didn't bring it in. So one of the, I have an N64, and I had brought it in, and I was asking around because I know I used to be a tech for my district before I was a teacher, which is why I was so easily able to like segue right into that, like squeeze right into that like teaching position whenever I got my bachelor's. But I was a tech, and that means I know all the techs, which also means I know all the equipment in the building. So I know where a tube TV is. and I ended up carting it out of one of the secret rooms and putting it in my classroom. And then I have my N64 connected to that. And I work at like a really chill school. Like it's in the middle of nowhere. Like nobody's checking up on us. So I can pretty much not do whatever I want, but it's like reasonably. I was able to be like, it's history day. It's an N64 and we're a programming class. Trust me, I can figure out how to put that in the curriculum. Yeah, so that was the difference, is tube TVs were being extremely mass produced, which means everybody had them. Although, when all my friends started getting flat screens, my dad was like, "No, we're holding onto this TV as long as possible." I think we literally got rid of our tube TV. And this thing was like, the screen was like 65 inches, I think, but the actual TV itself was, well, I know it sat on the ground, and the actual screen was like 3 feet off the ground, 2 to 3 feet off the ground. It was I don't know. Anyway, it was just gigantic. I don't even know. Like, hang on. Yeah, one of these. It wasn't quite identical to this, but it was like this exact size, but I swear it was bigger than this. Here, can I transition my screen? I want to go. There we go. Yeah, one of these. Yeah, it was like insane. It was one of these like TVs, and I was like, it was just goofy all around. I was probably like this tall, and then we had our couch, and I had one of these like small, not even that. That's a 40. I think I had like one of these. I don't think it had a stereo because my dad invested in surround sound, so he had like a giant amp. He was a nerd. He would like had the highest tech, so he was always invested in everything. Yeah, I had like something like, I don't know, I'm trying to find. Yeah, something more like this, except that looks like it has a built-in VHS in it, maybe. But it was something about like 27 to 32 inches in size. So that's about what I had in my bedroom. And then I remember watching Forrest Gump on the VHS. So, but yeah, good times. I swear the tube TVs I don't know. I don't think you ever had a problem with accurate colors. Maybe like in a VHS, like that's just the quality of like what VHS could handle. But if you like had a, okay, here's a fun fact. My Xbox 360 was connected to my VHS, not my VHS. What? My tube TV in my bedroom. I remember playing Minecraft in 2012 with my tube TV in my bedroom. I also had my Wii in there. But yeah, I think the color from a CRT is so good. So I don't know. I think you can't get any better. Like the blues are unreal. So I don't know. That's my information, I guess. But I don't know. I guess most of my students didn't grow up with that kind of stuff. They grew up with iPads. In fact, my freshmen were born in 2012. So whenever I was playing Minecraft and like 11 years old, playing on a tube TV, they were like just born that year. They were born in the year of the iPad. I think iPads came out in 2011. But I think my dad or my mom still had a flip phone at the time. So, and it was like, I think I had a smartphone. My dad invested in me a smartphone because the home phones were really expensive and he just got like a really good deal. I don't know. Anyway, I had what was that? It was called an HTC Vive. Maybe? Nope, that's a headset. What is this? Android. It was HTC, but it was such an old phone. I don't know. I can't remember. But anyway, point being, I miss old tech, man. I would my monitor I'm using is 200. It was $800, 240 hertz, 32-inch gaming monitor, curved. Yeah, it was the HTC One. It was. I still have it. It's just in a drawer somewhere in my room. I don't know where it's at, but it turns on, but the touchscreen doesn't work. So I need to like replace the screen, but I don't even know how. I assume the screen's a super basic like touchscreen LCD or something. So it probably wouldn't be too bad. But it was obviously game changing for the time. I remember just like there was nothing fun that you could like. It was so much fun, but there was actually nothing good on the very first like smartphones. Yeah, it was a fantastic phone. I loved it. It was. I don't remember. Like there were games, but honestly, what I enjoyed doing as a freaking, how old was I? 8, 9? I don't know. I was in 3rd grade. So however old you are in 3rd grade. I remember my dad, like after one of the 3rd grade dances, my dad was like, "Oh yeah, here's a prize, by the way. I got you a smartphone." And I was like, "What the heck?" And then I was like, "What is this?" And he was like, "Well, it's a phone and you can touch the screen." And I was like, "What?" And then so on. I've never had anything other than a smartphone. But yeah, my dad was like, "Here's the rule. Got to call me every single time you get off the bus so I know you made it home safe." And I was like, "Okay." And that was it. And then I couldn't watch YouTube because we had, well, that was the world of 3G. So first of all, that's slow. Not every house had a router, I don't think, and we didn't. That's all I can say. We did not have internet. And how much data? It was like, I don't think we even had a gigabyte of data we could use per month. So I remember like wanting to watch YouTube, and then my dad was like, "No." No, we definitely had internet because I remember our desktop computer that was running on XP. I remember my mom getting on MySpace on that. And I remember, whatever. I don't know. That's funny. My mom got MySpace, and then she was so appalled by the things she saw on there. It was like her welcoming introduction to social media, and she was immediately like, "Nah, this isn't right." And then she's never had a social media since. She's like, "If you want to talk to me, you call me." Oh, I don't even know what I was saying. What? Whoopsies. I got too carried away. But yeah, good times. I just miss the old tech, man. It was so simple. I think I would have thrived. Might not have been missing out on much, but it's like I feel like tech now is so advanced that it's almost boring. Like, I don't know. I feel like it's not niche to know how to program. Like my school's making it a standard to know how to program. So it's like I teach every single incoming freshman how to program in the basics, and then they can move on. And it's like, that's the new standard in my state. And it's so boring. I don't know. I just feel I don't know. I have one student. She's pretty cool. I was about to say her name, but I shouldn't do that. And we talk about old tech sometimes. And she's like the only student I know of that actually appreciates like old tech. And I don't remember. She said her parents is getting her something for Christmas, I think. And it was like, it's something like a Commodore. She's like getting a Commodore 64, but it's not a Commodore, but it's just like it, I think, if I remember correctly. That makes sense. Yeah, that's literally why I'm building this. Same exact reason is I wanted to, it's like such low level, like I want to know how it's all built, and to me it's a custom CPU. Like, yeah. No kidding. It's very, very cool. Very good stuff. I'm very happy when my students pretty much, or any student is interested, but I will say I will say my strongest students, like the ones that are strongest in programming, like I obviously have some very strong, like really good base knowledge students that like know how to do a lot of the programming stuff. But I think the majority of them are actually girls. So that's a very interesting, like, I don't know if it's because they're interested or because they care more. I don't know. I don't really know what it is, but I think it's an interesting statistic because like most of the boys only care about impressing other people, but knowledge isn't impressing. They don't think knowledge is impressing these girls or something. I don't know. They just like don't care. And I think that's part of the problem. And then I have the students that want to be software engineers when they grow up. So, or when they want to go to college for software engineering. And then, so anyway, yeah, I noticed that it's more boys are interested in programming, but the girls that are forced to program tend to be better than the boys because for whatever reason, I think they just have the priorities straight. That could definitely just be it. Okie dokie. Oh boy. This is a lot of short wires. Yep. Pretty decent mix. But yeah, so whenever I got that really old laptop, the student that is really into the old stuff, she just like freaked out. She was just like, that is the coolest thing ever. And I'm like, no kidding. I don't think I've ever, like, the oldest machine I've ever touched was probably the desktop whenever I was growing up. Like my dad's computer, precious Windows XP. I think that's about it. Exactly. Guys are definitely more like, don't worry, we'll get there in the end. And then girls are like, I'm going to pass the class with an A. Not every girl, of course. Like, there's obviously some people that just like don't care at all. They're like, whatever. But I'm like, guys, y'all kind of have to pass the class to graduate, you know? So you might as well pass it on the first try. It's not hard. It's actually I do participation. I'm pretty much just like, if you submit the assignment, you get participation. I have my AI proofing. Basically, if you copy and paste all of the answers, I have a quiz off, like, all my stuff is based on stuff that's in the book. And so my vocab words come out of the book. And I just do a quiz on the vocab words exactly from the book. And if they use AI, which sometimes is wrong anyway, they won't pass the quiz, which is weighted 60% of the grade. So that's how I pretty much worked it out. Um, and it's taught some of them. The other half don't care. They don't care at all. They're just like, they're like, I'll take the 20% on the participation of the assignment. Like, you do what you want, but you're, I don't know. I had a student get a 0% on a quiz, and then he took another quiz and he got a, what was it, a 5% the next time. I don't even know how statistically you can get a 0%. That was incredible. Like, the odds, I don't even know. I think you have to try, if you're randomly guessing and it's a 10 question quiz, a 0%, and it's all multiple choice, by the way. It's like, it's nothing too crazy. Oh, that's the other crazy thing is vocab words. If you use AI and the AI was at least remotely correct, you should be able to figure it out. But no, AI is like, that proves to me that AI is not that good because it wasn't giving them close enough definitions to what they were in the book. Yeah, try not to overwhelm everybody. I might have to take a cutting break. My hands are so sweaty. Yeah, exactly. Ugh. Wow. My throat's a little itchy. Oh, yeah. So, I purchased this adapter. Totally random, but basically just converts serial to VGA. And what's cool is that I have a CRT monitor, and that's kind of a surprise. Whenever I get like my computer working, I'm gonna try and run it on the CRT. I'm praying it won't break the CRT. I'm really praying because it has real, you know, the real shooty rays. So I'm really scared. But anyway, I have a CRT serial like legitimate black and white CRT or whatever color you prefer. Green, blue, whatever CRT you have. 2 VGA. And luckily, sorry, big laptop coming through. Can't see it super well, but there's a CRT connection, and I want this to basically plug in right there. Boom. Now I can plug a VGA into there, and then I can plug that into a CRT. Technically, the CRT I have, it has a VGA coming right off of it. So that's it's not currently here. I have that stored at my parents' house because I don't have a lot of space where I currently live. But whenever I need it, I'll bring it. But for testing purposes, everything will be on a generic, like, LCD flat monitor. Same aspect ratio. But yeah, I just thought that was a fun little thing. I really hope I can fix. I'm gonna try and make a new battery for it. I don't even have a picture, so I can't even show you what the battery looks like. But it's, well, you can just picture. It's a 1987 battery for a laptop. It is the way I understand it. Obviously, it's two like battery cells linked together to get the required voltage. But you would think it would be like a bunch of AAA type of batteries connected together. In fact, it's not. My understanding is it feels like a ton of like the cell batteries the circle ones, just a bunch of them lined up together, and then it loops around, and then a bunch of more, and I'm like, ooh gosh. So anyway, I'm gonna try and replace the battery. No kidding. Yeah, no, I'm scared, but I have to take apart that one and figure out which the battery's basically dead. So I'm gonna connect it to like a fan or something and try and discharge all the electricity out of it, and then I'll have to open it up and see what's going on. Hopefully it won't explode. Yeah, and then I'll just replace it. I'll just make a new battery. That I think it's 12 amps. Nope, sorry. 2 amps, 12 volts. Yeah. Yes, basically. I need a... Anyway, the laptop, I think it's either the battery or a capacitor blue. But what happens is, whenever I flip on the power switch, it goes... and then it like loses power, like it's not getting enough power, and then it like stops. Okay. I'm sipping on some ginger ale. Probably not the best for getting my mouth rehydrated, but you know, I think it tastes good. Okay. Now is time where I bend these. But yeah, I'm very fortunate. I hope it's not something on the board. That'd be horrifying. I opened it up. I took a few pictures. I think not diagnosed. I think I was able to pick out the processor because, you know, if it's an 8080, you know, it's going to be like yay big. So that was kind of hard. It doesn't say 8080 anywhere, like on any of the chips. So I don't know if it's like a little square microprocessor that's like, I don't know. I just can't find it. I think there's a few things, like there might be a cooler on it. Ah, no. Man, you're freaking me out. Yeah. So what I think happened... Oh, shoot. I hit my camera. Okay. Here's part of the problem, I think. So I had a battery working for it. Or sorry, it was working. I was able to like literally boot up into everything. But very occasionally it would just lose power. Like there'd be like a spike. It would need more power or something. It would try and draw from it. And then the actual power cable probably just couldn't supply enough power for that like little spike. Or maybe the capacitors weren't good, and then like, I don't know. Either way, I had to do something with the power. I'm hoping the battery could fix the power problem, because the battery doesn't like take anything, but I'm doing everything through the battery just in case. But I got a new charger for it, and it was a 16 volt, but the bottom of the laptop says 12 volt, and in the data sheets or the instruction manual, I don't know what you want to call it, for the actual laptop itself, said that it came with a 16 volt charger. And then I saw someone on Reddit have the exact same laptop, and they also said it came with a 16 volt. So I'm like, okay. So I purchased it. And anyway, I used the new 16 volt, and ever since then, it doesn't work anymore. It turns on, and then the screen goes dark, and it's almost like it can't fully boot up from the, we could take a look of that. We could look at it really quick if you want. But yeah, it used to work, and then I changed the power, and I'm a little worried I gave something a little too much voltage, and now it doesn't work. Because it worked with the old charger, and guess what? Here's the problem. If I plug in the old charger that it was working with, it doesn't get enough power at all anymore. Like, it doesn't even try to turn on. It just is blank. So now it only works it doesn't even like fully turn on anymore, but it only almost turns on with the new charger. That's what I was thinking. I think it could be an old capacitor, but none of them blew up. So I don't know. I guess I can bring out the voltmeter and test to see if the capacitors are storing anything. I don't really know how to test a capacitor, or like, yeah, I don't really know. I don't really know what to do. I'm kind of in the dark, but I'm just praying that if I just replace the battery, it will be fixed. Yeah, I could show you what it looks like if you want. I could bring it up here. Ah, I figured. There's not that many capacitors in the actual board. I don't know, I said in the board. On the board. But yeah, okay. You know what? Field trip. I don't know why I'm calling it a field trip, but that's kind of what it feels like. Okay. Don't want any of that to get lost. Okay. Gonna have to adjust a few things, so bear with me. Okay. Laptop. You know, I guess I'm gonna discharge the battery with the fan, but I think part of the problem also could have been I was powering the laptop directly in the back. There is a, like, it shouldn't be a problem. Like, looking at it, it accepts power directly here. Like, it has the limiters and everything. Like, you can tell. I'll open it up and you can see it. But it's like I plugged it directly into the back, and it says it's safe to plug a charger directly into the back. No, it's fine. I'm not even on script. So it's fine. But yeah, so I was charging it originally from the back with the 12 volt, exactly what it says on the bottom of the laptop. Because, like, the bottom of the laptop says 12 volts, 2 amps. So, yeah, I could test the battery. Here's the thing. With my voltmeter, I tested the chargers, and neither of them give any of the correct values. So that's also probably an issue. The 16 volt correctly outputs 16 volts, but it's like 0.6 amps. And then, or it's like 1 amp or something like that. So I don't know. That could likely be an issue, I would think. And then the 12 volt, I think, only supplies 11 volts and like freaking 5 amps or 4 amps. Yeah, I did. Because that's what it said. The charger that it comes with in the data sheet says it can do 16 volts. But yeah, hopefully I didn't ruin it. That's what I'm worried about. So, well, anyway. Let me show you. But yeah, I can only get it to sort of turn on with 16 volts. So that's my, like, what is going on kind of thing. I hope I can get everything to work, and I think I just pray it's just the battery. Okay. Yeah, for now that's how I'm gonna adjust things. And here is the the charger. 16 volts, 2 amps. That's what it says, but unfortunately it doesn't actually give out 16 volts. Or sorry, it doesn't actually give out 2 amps. But I'm worried that the 16 volts could have been too much. Yeah, I can do soldering. I just don't like to. Not if it's a big solder project, you know. Yeah, like somebody on Reddit said that theirs used this exactly. Also, want to know something else that's funny? So, right here, I have a contrast and I have a brightness. Fun fact: brightness doesn't do anything. I turn it all the way down, I turn it all the way up, it doesn't do anything. So I should probably take it apart and look at that slider. I assume it's a slider potentiometer, or yeah, a slider potentiometer. For now, I'll unplug. Wait a minute, that won't. Never mind. I have to plug this in down here. Okay. Okay. It's plugged in. Power switch is over here. This is what happens, and I'll turn off the music because you might be able to hear this. Okay. I am curious what you can hear. So yeah, you can't hear anything. But what the big deal is, it like literally turns on. I can literally see it like blinking, as in I can like start to type, as in the it's starting to boot up. But that's the problem. It starts to boot up, and then it seems like it's not getting enough power for the full boot up. And then it's like a capacitor is like out. And I hope it's the battery not having enough charge that's the problem. Because if I unplug the power and I try to run off the battery, that's it. It's on and then it's out. The battery's completely off. And if I plug in the battery for like hours, that's all it will do. Yes, I do have power. It just seems like it's not enough. Like I feel like if a capacitor or something was blown, it wouldn't do this. I feel like okay, capacitor might be able to be blown or like not fully working, like maybe not holding a. I don't know. I don't really know how capacitors like completely work, but regardless, like I know what a capacitor's purpose is. I know how they like work, but I don't know what happens if they break. I don't know if they like completely lose the ability to continue to allow electricity to pass through, or if that like is completely lost. But regardless, when I plug this in to the battery and I turn it on, the low power light blinks the whole time, no matter how like long. So I assume it's a power problem. And that's what I'm praying for. Also, the floppy disk reader works, like I said. I literally have MS-DOS 5.0 working. But if we want, we could take a little bit of a second field trip and open it up if you want, because I think it looks really cool. Um, the old, it's actually, oh my gosh, I can't believe how simple this like computer is. Like, why don't they make computers like obviously gaming desktops and like that? It's not simple, but it's simple to assemble and it's easy to know like what every component is. Yeah, I could bring this back down. Let me make sure the power's fully drained out of it. Okay. Power is off. Music is back on. Yes, correct. My battery is shot. Um so yeah. I don't know. I'm curious if the 16-volt battery or the 16-volt connector, like I don't know if that like killed the battery, but that's literally what it's supposed to have. So it just could be the fact that the battery's so old that it just couldn't handle what it's supposed to. I don't know. Regardless, I plan to get there in the end, and then I hope I can make some really cool videos. Oh, another really cool feature about this. I'm sad it doesn't include this extra little thing. And I could probably buy this chip. Okay, I didn't know that. This, I've never seen this before, but it's a CPU expansion, like math expansion. Like I don't really know how to. You probably know more about it than I do, but it literally accepts an extra like math core or like a special processor for doing extra math and stuff. I don't know. It's pretty cool stuff. I thought that was the first thing I noticed, and that was the first thing I popped out whenever I got my toolkit, whenever I got my toolkit out, because I was like, what is that? I did not take this one fully out yet. No kidding. Yeah, I definitely want to buy the I don't even know, like I don't know if it just makes it faster. It's honestly really fast anyway. Um that reminds me, I don't think I've actually seen the clock inside of this thing. So, it's something I should definitely look at. Yeah, I think this thing's running at they don't have internal CPU clocks, do they? Like on these old microprocessors. It could, I guess, but I don't think they would. Considering the 6502 doesn't, the Z80 doesn't. I can see how convenient that could be, but for like, I don't know. I don't think. Well, I know it's got a clock. I don't know where it's like it's not built into the CPU, I don't think, right? Like that's not normal. I just don't know where it's at. Also, look at that dude. That thing's like huge PS. Like I don't know what kind of connection that is. I've seen it before. I just don't know if that's like a PS1 connection or like it just looks like a really big PS2, but like slightly different. Oh no, did I forget? Nope, I didn't. Okay. What's really cool is it's not hard to get to. Okay, here's hard drive, 20 megabytes, custom connection, so I cannot replace it. That's what I was thinking. Okay. All I have to do is take the keyboard off, and it's super easy. I unscrew this. Put that there. I unscrew this one. Put that there. And then that's it. I just plop that up. That is everything. In fact, I could like zoom in. Okay. That's everything. So I did my research and I know, I don't know. I took everything off the motherboard and this is the only spot that has any sort of IC on it, pretty much. Like all of this is just like capacitors and such. So that is what I don't know. That's okay. I can't. I don't know. I don't know. Like, is that. What is this? Like, I don't even know what most of this stuff is. I assume we have an original, like, something along the lines of what a. That's what I was thinking. But it doesn't say 8080 on it anywhere. It just says. I mean. I don't know if you can read that. 7302 5ACP 1988 Japan 89402. Those are the only like letters and words on it. But I assume that was the CPU. And then I assume some of these other things are like the special controllers for certain things, such as the. What do you mean it's a Z80? My Z80 looks completely different from that. Oh wow. That can like fully come out. Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say my Z80. First of all, there aren't the Z's stand. Does that stand for Zilog, right? So it's like I think they would have to have the actual Zilog. But no, that's like the Z80 chips are a little longer. Like this is the size of my ROM chip. But I tried Googling this cuz this could be like a ROM. I don't know. Nothing on here says. I don't know, I just can't find anywhere on this like spot here that says Intel 8080. Which reminds me, is this? No, that's over there. The expansion board plugs in over on the other side. Yeah, I think it might be a ROM chip. And is this just me or does this... Oh, my microphone's in the way. Is it just me or does this... I mean, okay, you can't... I don't think you can see it super well. But it says... It has a plus on it and it kind of looks like a weird diode type of battery. Like it looks like a... What should be the coin cell. And it has a plus on it. But it looks like it's supposed to be a diode at the same time. Gosh, I'm starting to lose my voice. I talk too much today. Sure thing. So, unfortunately, there's not... Like, I've taken the hard drive off, the floppy drive off, and there's no chips anywhere but this spot. This is the only location that has chips on this board. So I Except for whatever this thing is, and I have no clue what that is. That might be a chip. In fact, that actually could be the CPU. So, this here is what I believe it's the floppy disk and the hard drive controller. So that's on the other side of this chip, I believe. And then there's nothing under these. The floppy disk and the hard drive. Sure, I'll remove it. Do this all the time. I always lose my... Yeah, I think I Googled this chip and it was like the hard drive. Hard drive controller. Sorry, I'm trying to read. Oh! Well, there's a clock. I see a little oscillator. Hang on a minute. Where? Oh. Darn, that's connected to that, so I can't even do much. Does this unplug at all? I think it oughta. I just don't know. There's a tab I need to pull. Or if it just pulls straight up or pulls straight out. But I can't see what's on the other side of this chip. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. Unless if that's the CPU. Hang on. Sorry, everything's really dim, so it's hard to read these chips. No. I figured the CPU would look something like this, though, like a little chip that plugs in. Like, what is... Oh, okay, that's something else that can plug in right here. I swear this, like, laptop is missing a little bit. Do you think there's a chance the CPU could be underneath of the like motherboard? I can't imagine this is only for the graphics card. Like, if you really think about it, the expansion pack, yeah. So this is actually something that's a plug-in, like that's shoot, whatever you call it, whatever you plug stuff into. But on the other side of this, literally right here on this side, which translates to right on top. I need to zoom a little. Oh, wow. Pretty much right here on the other side, but like, yeah, it probably is on the other side of the board. But that's where the expansion CPU plugs into, is on the other side of the board down there. But I don't feel like taking the whole thing apart tonight and putting it back together. What is that? That looks so weird. Okay. Well, whatever. We're gonna plug that back in. I guess it's time to put it back together. Yeah, I didn't really think about it being underneath, because first of all, there's not that much space under there. This might be nothing but network card. Like, it's... I don't know what kind of network. Yeah, exactly. I will definitely later on, I'll probably take apart more and I'll let you know if I find it. I'll take some pictures. I'll share it in the Discord. How about that? But no, either just opening it up, it's pretty cool. But I can show you what I mean. By the power supply in a second. Okay, power plugs in right up here. I'm gonna move the camera up here. I just wanted to get that plugged in. Perfect. Okay. Okay. So, mic's over here. So, okay. Power plugs in right here. And this is like the whole thing. That's the DC like plug-in port, right? And then this is the whole power thing. To me, it doesn't look like anything's broken. I mean, I don't know. Also, something I find interesting about this board. If you look right in there, you can see what looks like you can plug more stuff. That's true, everything was fixable. I didn't think about that. But anyway, doesn't this look like I can plug more stuff into that? Like, that's something useful, maybe? Like, I don't know. I'm curious what that was for or what that's about. But, anyway. Ah, my desk. Fantastic. Okay. Oh no. My camera is offline. Okay, we're back. Oh, that's what's wrong. Okay. Yeah, I guess everything might be on the other side of the motherboard. That's okay. But yeah, I need to figure out why the contrast slider's not working, but that's a whole different journey. Not the contrast, the brightness. Yeah. Okay. Just gotta make sure everything pops back into place. Okay. There we go. Yeah, I pretty much memorized how this thing fully comes apart at this point. I've taken this apart like 5 times just because I like looking inside of there. But I don't know why I'm not thinking about things logically. Like, obviously. Yeah, that's probably it. It's either the slider potentiometer's like out, as in it needs replaced, or yeah, it's like a connection went wrong. Maybe I just need to resolder it. I'm not very good at soldering. I've soldered a lot of stuff, but like I've soldered several pins onto Raspberry Pis. It does have a handle. I'm never this thing weighs like 15 pounds. I weighed it. It's 14 pounds on the dot. I don't think this little rickety, like you can literally hear it. Pretty bad. I don't think I trust it. So I will not be carrying it by the little handle. Yeah, it was such a steal. I say a steal. In fact, it was free. It was just one of my pals. They were just like, or one of my teacher pals. She was just like, hey, my dad gave it to me. He didn't want it anymore. It's just been sitting in my closet the whole time. So do you want it? And I said, heck yeah. She was like, I know you're kind of nerdy into this YouTube stuff, into the like computer stuff, and maybe you can like make a video with it or something. And I was like, you're so cool. And then I planned on it, and then everything was going great. And then I changed the charger and it broke it. But alas, hopefully, I think the battery just needed replaced anyway. But yeah, I'm not ever holding it by this handle. She carried it in by the handle and the battery was connected and all. And I was like, oh no. Yeah, this is a two-handed operation. She obviously didn't care. For the extra things it connects to, we have printer, CRT monitor. I have no idea what that is, and that's an external floppy disk drive. So I don't know what the RS232C is. I can Google it. It looks like it's a reverse serial. So a male serial port instead of a female. Yeah, she did. She gave me a startle when she carried it in by the handle. Yep, I should be working on it soon. But anyway, I think that might be a pretty decent stopping point for the night. I don't really feel like getting started all the way back into this stuff. So hopefully pretty soon we can I can get a YouTube video out this Friday. But I appreciate you tuning in and chatting with me, and everybody else that has been here chatting with me. That was pretty awesome. But I've been streaming for 3 hours and 13 minutes. That's a lie. 3 hours and 30 minutes. My bad. OBS tells the truth. Streamlabs, whatever I'm using, is not working. So, I will continue this next time. The video card should be done by the next time I live stream. I keep calling it a video card. That'd be amazing if it was a video card. But, yeah. Alright. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Thank you so much for chatting with me. I think it's just Xpun. Is that your name there? And then also, did you join the Discord? I hope you joined the Discord so you could send me some progress on the Z80. All right. 83 minutes. There's no way. It's been so much longer. All right, you as well. I hope everybody had a good time.